Welcome to OWAD Today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese, and welcome to the weekly review of what we've covered this week. We started with agriculture, Nong, and the ancient form is way more complicated. That got two origin stories I shared. One is this divine farmer imagery, that this is the divine farmer's hand reaching from top of the screen saying it's not human hands. And in the middle is baby brain. It's called a fontanel. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, but it's like unformed up baby skulls that they are still, the bones are still got cracks in between. So that's baby skull. And this farmer, divine farmer, reaching, handling us with this brain, this baby brain, as I guess as humans trying to learn as if it's babies. It's a lot of wisdom, knowledge from this divine farmer. That's the starting point of agriculture. The legend has it. Okay, so the bottom is freshwater clamshell or mussels that before the age of metalsmith, that we can create some hard edge tools that these shells were used. And it was probably cheap enough and abundant enough. That was the ancient farming tool technology. So we have the tool, we have the origin, the founding father of agriculture. That's one version. The second version is this is somebody else's hand. That not necessarily means divine farmer's hand. It's simply older generations taking care of the baby as the baby growing its brain. It's still like a growing intelligence, right? And a handle with care. So this caregiving to babies signify the attitudes of agrarian society like a Chinese, taking care of their plants as if they're taking care of the next generation of humans. So this nurturing story is the second version. I like both, I guess. We could have both. So this is the complicated picture we painted from the start off. Like agriculture is such a complicated thing, and it was regarded as an intellectual craft that to be successful in farming, you need to know a lot of things. So this handling with care simply talks about the intellectual challenge right there. Okay, so we can see the contemporary Chinese, we get rid of the top, this sacred, divine, or handing down generation to generation. This baby brain signify the wisdom, the knowledge, or the care giving object. All that is gone. And then the bottom, the shell imagery was simplified, and we get this and become our agriculture nowadays. Now we add 3 dots. That's a simplification of this 5 strokes imagery of a river. And Chinese natural flowing water in nature is our capturing of what water is. That's how water behaves, right? How it flows in nature. And that's water sign, and it got simplified into just 3 dots. And we have the whole replacement of the right side. Okay, and pronounced the same as Nong, and it means thick because my theory goes that agriculture is the act of artificially, like a created man-made environment and a process to condense food source for humans. Instead of like a gathering, it's a much wider space. You have to look around to search, right, for food. So instead of that, you condense. So therefore, this agriculture practice means density. And with plus water, that means thick water. And here plus the moon symbol, which is a shared overlapping imagery of this meat, ancient meat symbol that signify the body parts, our physiology there. And that signify that somewhere the part of the body that got thicker than normal. So that's a Chinese definition of pus. And again, we have this top portion of the nong character removed and simplify the bottom. And then whole new thing with kind of like a nong, but this part is called yin. We don't use that separately in our Chinese, but I'm giving you 3 examples this week of this paired with different components. So when it paired with wood symbol, it becomes pillow, because ancient pillow in China actually made of wood. And here, the right side, again, 2 origin stories, but one is far away place, human walking, like a little dot, slow moving. And I cannot explain why that means heavy or pillow. How to pair with wood makes pillow. But the second version is, this is a human figure carrying a load. So just 2 vertical lines simply means 2 kind of baskets, containers to hold your stuff. And this is the ancient transportation before we have delivery of sorts, animal power or wheels, invention of wheels. If we have to rely on humans carrying stuff A to B on our foot, this is the device we use. And that carrying load image paired with wood perfectly can explain what pillow is. Pillow is this wood-made headset that's carrying the load of our head. And we can see we have the tree symbol or wood symbol instead of up the canopy of the tree, right? It's flattened down, easier to write, takes less space, and still it's like structurally distinctive. This is Chinese wood symbol. And we have the human figure that used to be like this, right? Kind of a, not exactly straight line, but a curvature, slightly on one side and more curvature, which is the back side of human. And instead of having the curvature, we streamlined it, and I point out this part connected differently. It becomes more of a attached direct way, going straight instead of a starting curvature. So that's a simplification there. But this character, relative to Nong, to the agriculture image, preserved original look a lot. And this yin, the right side, is a weight carrying image with water symbol. It's weight carrying water, and that's a Chinese definition of juice. I think it's pretty explainable, right? It's kind of carrying fibers or mud. Well, in this case, I guess fibers, because it's juice, it's drinkable, right? So nutrition's in there. It's not just plain water. It got heaviness, load carrying property in there. So again, we have the simplification of the water symbol and the streamline of the attachment, the intersection there. Instead of going out, we flatten it. Now the last one, wait, did I pronounce? This is Shen. We use that in a city name and also last name of the Aristotle of China, Shen Kuo, is the most famous Shen last name holder in China. Okay, then totally different pronunciation and a kind of a totally different meaning as well. It's heavy. Here, load carrying paired with ear symbol. This is how ancient, I guess 2,000 years ago, seal script version of the ear, how the ear wiring looks. And then Chinese regard heavy ear lobe as a blessing, as a signature to show you have an easy way of life. And that kind of relates to indulge. And my second explainer is indulge is oftentimes like hearing, like our sensory of hearing got pleased by the sound, right? So that heavy load carrying through our ear, our hearing sensors, that's our expression of indulge. So we have the simplification of a year symbol and a streamlined attachment of the human figure. So here we have nong, nong, nong. You notice? All of these exactly the same pronunciation. I guess the nong pronunciation and also meaning carrying dominance here. So regardless of what's attached to it, it's pronounced the same. Nong, nong, nong. Now, this is not the case of this yin that we don't pronounce separately or use separately anymore. But when it pairs with wood, it's zhen as 枕头, that's pillow. And pair with water, that's shen as a shenyang, that's a city name. And we don't use juice naming either. Okay, and dan, completely different. If shen and shen, kind of, okay, sound similar, but dan is different one. And pair with ear, heavy earlobe, signify easy life, that's indulgence. And we can see we streamlined, simplified, removed this hand-carrying baby brain imagery in the past to make the origin of either knowledge passed through generations, it's intellectual work, or it's knowledge created by this divine farmer, legendary figure. Okay, that's all removed. And then we streamlined the freshwater shell used as a farming kind of a plow, sharp edge tool before metal was available for us. So that's nong, nong, nong. And then the shen, we got this streamline of the attachment that used to be a human figure, kind of like this. Now we kind of attach it this way without too much curvature. We kind of smooth out things. And then simplified water symbol, simplified ear symbol, and straighten the canopy of the tree to a flat. So that's the whole transformation. And here we start with nong, agriculture, and with dan, indulge, this heavy earlobed sensory indulgence. And I think this picture probably it's coffee, right? It's from a plant, so it's agriculture. And then we can totally indulge that. Thank you for your time. See you another week.